Here's the Stinky Popcorn Boys.
We watch movies and eat popcorn. And you're stinky.
Hello. We are the Stinky Popcorn Boys. Just some boys talking about movies and how they made us feel. I am Patrick Basquill, and I'm a brilliant mastermind special forces guy who undid the Avengers from the inside out to avenge the loss of my family. But now I've had some time to think about it, and I'm super rich, and, I just kind of want to dance and hang out.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Thanks, bud.
What's a good look, the hero's journey
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, I'm John Gilardi, and I'm left-handed, so I wouldn't have any of the problems that...
remember.
Yeah, I would remember to use my arm,
man.
my cyborg arm.
So today we are going to be talking about Disney/Marvel's serialized latest entry into their streaming platform monster, Disney Plus.
Yeah.
It's you know them, you love them. It's the Falcon and the Winter Soldier Boy.
Winter Soldier Boy.
Winter Soldier Boy.
Yes.
He's a little soldier boy.
So-
just going to therapy, trying to do stuff.
Yeah.
So obviously this is post the finale of everything. We are going to talk about the entire series.
Yep, all 6 episodes.
All 6 episodes in a very broad context. Again, we're 50, 54, 55, a million episodes in at this point. Hey, by the way, that means that we've been doing this for like almost a year or a little bit over a year.
Yeah, it was around May.
52 weeks in a year. So
wow. Good for us.
Good for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously, we're gonna spoil it. We're gonna talk about all the little bits and bobs of things.
Yeah.
That little sort of warning. I don't know if again.
Yeah. You're
You
probably
know what
here.
you're doing here.
Yeah. So
Synopsize it for us. Tell us what the show's about.
So this is post Captain America having kind of time traveled and then come back as an old man.
Mm-hmm.
He hands the shield over to Sam, who's the Falcon, and he's like, no one can live up to the memory of that man, and he turns it over to, it belongs in a museum.
Yeah.
He says.
Ooh, Indiana Jones reference right there, dude.
And so the shield then gets taken in by the U.S. military, who never really had ownership over it. But it's a very anti-big government, big military move. A lot of themes in this show.
It's very softly that though, because they come back around to the end and they're like, hey, here's a Stern talking to, but let's not enact real change.
Yeah.
Which is that's its own thing where it's like,
it's interesting, and so it goes to this guy, John Walker, who's a genuinely, good.
Who's a good soldier.
Yeah, he's a good soldier, and then Sam and Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, are kind of doing their own side thing, and then naturally John Walker kind of wants to help out, and you got conflict, and you have this like terrorist organization called the Flag Smashers, which is a stupid name.
Mm-hmm.
And then it all comes to a head, and it doesn't have a great.
There's like not
doesn't a great. You can't really synopsize it great.
No, because it kind of jumps all over the place, and it doesn't really like. Here, we'll do Sam's journey. Sam gives up the shield. This is my whole thing with this series is that it feels like the first draft, and then they never like edited it down. Or like there's sections of it where it feels like even the very famous like really cool Baron Zemo dancing thing.
Yeah.
I remember watching that episode and being like, man, they're using a lot of B-roll to like cover time.
Yeah.
Like it felt weird. Like, and there's a lot of moments of that, and then the
editing is weird, and I don't even think it's the editing's weird, but I think the filmmaking was weird.
Yeah, it was felt really like
there's weird shots at times. There's weird. Like I don't know if it was like COVID workarounds, maybe.
Yeah.
Like close-ups so you only had one person instead of three.
And then I noticed that in that same shot where they had like a funny little buddy comedy beat, but they didn't punch in for a close-up, and they were like out wide, and the audio felt weird, and like the pacing was wrong on the comedy beat.
Yeah.
And that's one thing where the editing really shows is like that's how you clean up like a comedy beat.
Yeah.
Because then there was a lot of moments like that where it's like. They so badly wanted it to be like a buddy comedy thing, and then it feels like they're really butchered.
I felt like that was the idea, and then they went in and changed it day of or organically through the project, so it feels disjointed. I mean, there's just sequences like the one where Battlestar died. That whole ruse, whatever that operation was, the plan. I didn't know they had a plan. Oh, it just cold open. The episode isn't cold open, but the action sequence cold opens into this sequence, and they're like, "What? Why are we here? What's the plan? What's going on?
Yeah.
Why is John Walker here with Battlestar? Do they know they're here?
Yeah.
Like, it's just very weird. Like all the players come into the scene, and there was no establishment of it.
Well,
it's
and then
super bizarre.
And even when Carly blows up the building or whatever, and it feels like they're like walking through, they're getting all the gear and stuff, the supplies, and then they get out in the car. And then I might be missing, I think there might be a shot where like she looks at a grenade or something like that. But it also feels like it's so like last second where it almost looks like an insert that they did later to be like, oh, fuck, we forgot to.
Yeah.
But then when they have Carly do that, they like go back and soften her again. Like that's one of my things.
She was a mess. And
it's not her fault. I want to stress.
There's no performance issues on this show.
Yeah, the writing is so weird. It feels like a first draft of the script where the dialogue and stuff had like notes to it on like a post-it note when it was like getting turned in. They were like, "Hey, this is like placeholder stuff that we need to change."
Yeah.
But there's some moments like the Isaiah Bradley, Sam stuff, like the moments that they knew that they wanted to hit. Some of them hit really well.
Yeah.
And like in the final episode, again, the journey to Sam rediscovering and taking his place as Captain America is it's a good journey on paper. The execution of it is a little bit weird, but the payoff feels fucking good.
Yeah.
The payoff feels fucking good.
Yeah. The last episode was a good payoff.
Yeah.
I saw like IGN, memes aside, or maybe including the memes, give it a 5 out of 10 or something pretty low. I'm like, oh man. And I watched it, I was like, this is fun.
Yeah.
I mean, that maybe with the stuff we feel negative is because of the episodes before, but this episode as its own thing is fine.
Yeah.
And I think it's weird because I like the series. I remember it well. I like the idea of it. I like remembering it, all the big things that happened, all the characters and the quick kind of snapshot of your remembering of their story in 2 seconds as you remember the 6 hours you watched.
The Sam at the bank. That's a great scene.
Yeah.
It's a little bit weird that the guy doesn't recognize him because he's like a big superstar guy. But also, I still love that beat.
Yeah. There's a lot of cool stuff like, so you don't get paid? And he's like, yeah, I mean, I guess we don't. It's just kind of we just do it. I don't know. He was a good vehicle too to kind of show that side. Because I don't know. Obviously, the Vision is he wasn't a real person who had like a real life. So you can't relate to that. Like when we get that really, because we have a lot more time with these characters in this format. And then Wanda, she's a normal person, but she's had a really really weird life path. Where Sam and John Walker, have lived normal lives to a certain point. So then you can kind of see what happens to those people who live this crazy fantastical life, and then what it means back at home where they had a normal life and family. And Bucky more or less could be the same, but everyone's dead.
I also think it's
everyone
really,
he loves is gone.
Yeah, he's like, oh man, I have to restart. I don't know. He was not done well. Sam was done better. Sam was definitely done better. And I feel like Sam has a full character, and he has a full arc, whereas Bucky's arc is like, hey, you're sad, you got all this trauma, and you have to learn how to work with people.
Definitely got the sidekick feel.
I don't know. Like, yeah. It's definitely, I don't know. Like,
it felt like Bucky was there to support Sam, but it didn't feel like Sam supported Bucky much. And
but he did in his like
I think
little ways, but it was lip servicey.
Yeah.
And again, like that's just the weird writing that they did. They did such a weird job writing this, where it's like, again, if you go back and like look at it, it's like if it feels really disconnected. It definitely feels like an outline where we're going from point to point. But that's one of my other like big points is like it feels really weirdly disconnected from the Marvel universe. Where I talked about Baron Zemo seemed like he was like playing a completely different person. Sharon also feel like a completely different person. And I get that the 5 years had passed.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things that I think that they really messed out on is if we're going to have a mini series of it and we're going to have all these things culminate, like, let's have an episode where maybe Baron Zemo's in jail and then everybody gets dusted. And then he's just stuck in jail and he has to think about it. And we have like a little bit of like an episode like that. Or the same thing with Sharon, where it's like we follow up with her post Infinity War, post Civil War, and it's like
we don't see a lot of why she got. I mean, you can draw the line. She was abandoned and forgotten.
Well, it's everything spelled out. She's like, they kicked me out of the United States, and why would I go back? And it's like, oh, okay, cool. So she's the bad guy person.
Yeah,
it's like immediately.
Well, and you don't see the big. They don't show you the big bad.
There's no big bad.
Yeah.
The big bad is...
Well, the power broker. Like, they're building up to this thing. It's like, well, we haven't seen them, so I think we have seen them.
Yeah.
Even if you didn't pick up on her. Yeah.
I
do like the Bucky flirting with Sam's sister.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good dynamic. Like, I think it's one of the best instances of the buddy comedy that they have in the whole show.
It feels like they shy away from it. Like, it almost feels like that's what they wanted to do, and then they shy away from it, except for these, like, the little moments.
Yeah.
I also, and, I feel like they really, like, nerfed everybody's journeys. Like, let me see Bucky, like, post-Endgame, like they had such a clear like emotional thing, and it's a trope, but like the cutting of the hair.
Yeah.
Well,
I think we should have seen more of them post Endgame because both of them came back out. Like, they came back and won the big fight, and maybe they had a line or two. I don't remember. I only seen Endgame once, or maybe I don't know. But like, they were brought in for the fan service for the big battle at the end.
Yeah.
And then we see them in a show here, and the transition. I guess we see. Okay, yeah. So we see them when Captain America leaves because they're his best friends.
But it feels like they're just fine now. Like, because it's something like that where you go and you die.
Well, they don't bond over. Yeah, they don't deal with that or acknowledge it or the way that the world's changed. And then we also don't, because then that would be interesting with the protagonist, since they're all butthurt about that. And then. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, well, just like, they kind of bond over Steve Rogers a little bit, but they don't even actually have a moment where they talk about memories or they talk about him.
I think
there's such a, like, we're done with that Captain America in the filmmaking that I don't like.
Yeah.
He besides talking him passingly when John Walker's there because you're pissed that guy's doing it. Or just like the vague greatness of Steve Rogers. Like, they don't just talk about him, or they don't relate about him as, friends together, or they don't find that mutual, like, they don't have to. And I think it's probably better that they don't come together because of Steve Rogers. But, what if there was a moment or something?
You could also, because again, I think a lot of this is like, a lot of this is weird. I feel like because of the Marvel edict. Like, hey, we're not going to have anything major happen in these series. We're just going to kind of have them be like interstitial.
Yeah.
And like have stuff happen that feels like maybe big, but we're not going to show the big person or whatever, Yeah. And then, and then also the kind of like I understand Steve going, and it's like you can make your case for it. But it's also like, it feels like it doesn't feel like a Steve. It feels like a Chris Evans was done with his contract and didn't want to come back for any more Captain Americas.
Yeah.
Or, they were like, all right, we want to move on from this Steve Rogers. This feels like the end of your journey. But he didn't die. And there was like, it just, him going back to be with Peggy feels like a weird Steve Rogers move.
Yeah.
Like, it feels...
It felt like an idea Like they had a million ideas thrown out,
Yeah.
and that was just one of a million ideas.
I don't know what the solution is, but it also is like, well, because it also feels like they don't want to definitely say that Steve Rogers is dead.
Yeah.
Because that would have been a good one. I think did they have a funeral for him in this in the beginning? No.
No, they just
That was
the
him,
donation of the shield, or
Yeah.
the ceremony with Don Cheadle, which was a random cameo I forgot about.
Yeah. But I think that they should have had they should have killed Steve Rogers. Like they should have had Steve Rogers die. And they could have met at his funeral, and it had been a minute since they'd seen each other, and they maybe reconnect over his funeral.
But you saying he should have died in Endgame?
No, in this.
Oh.
To kind of like
as the old man.
As the old man.
Oh, okay, yeah.
To kind of bridge it or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, if he's dead and not coming back, then that was very insinuated in the movie. So I don't think that'd be too big of a deal.
But it's also like, because the thing is, I think he needs to die because if not, then they're just hanging out. Like, can you imagine? All right, so say I'm Steve Rogers and you're Sam Wilson. And I'm like, hey, bud, I'm giving you the shield. I want you to be the new Captain America.
Yeah.
And I'm still kicking. And you're like, actually, I'm gonna give it up to the U.S. government. I'll be like, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
What the hey? What the fuck?
They insinuate he's gone, but
he
doesn't die in the other movie. And what are we supposed to assume between now and then?
We could have this whole first episode be about his death.
Yeah.
And then like there's like this big slideshow about how fucking big his dick was and how awesome he was and how much good he did the world. And that could be like Sam is like, oh shit, I can't do that.
Yeah.
And that'd be something.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like,
and you could somehow maybe cross that with his meeting of Isaiah Bradley. What's the older one?
Yeah, Isaiah Bradley.
Oh, they're both Isaiah, right?
No, Isaiah and Elijah. I think Elijah is the son.
The daughter.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So
sorry.
if he had like his jadedness, his frustration.
Yeah.
God, I can't remember. I think it's Elijah. Of Elijah Bradley.
Elijah Bradley is the younger one.
Okay, so of Isaiah Bradley. So if you had that like that meeting that he had combined with just like generally I can't measure up to this guy, then that sets it up pretty good.
Yeah.
Because right now his conflict is he's the one and only.
Yeah.
And that's it. We can't tarnish his one and only. He's such a good guy.
Yeah. And then maybe after Endgame, like Bucky kind of like dropped off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
And like that's the first time that he's seen Bucky.
Yeah, he has no reason to be connected.
Yeah. I mean, they were just connected through Sam or Steve.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's just I also feel like, and maybe this is me projecting, it's like I feel like they like vastly underpowered Bucky.
Yeah, he was kicking ass.
Like he was.
He took on Captain America,
Black Widow,
and maybe Black Panther all at the same time.
Yeah, like he was fucking going hard.
Yeah,
and he was holding his own. Him and fucking Steve were beating the shit out of Iron Man.
Yeah,
and like, I do like the idea like that. I don't know if they ever said it in this, but it was my idea. I was trying to like justify why he was doing so bad and getting his ass kicked. Is that since he's not like a mindless killing machine anymore?
Yeah.
That he has like struggles with efficiency.
I mean, that's what I would think. I mean, I would chalk it up to that, but still.
But they never address that. Like the idea of a person suddenly come to consciousness in their own body that has been modified.
I mean, he's been kicking ass unconscious though, since Civil War.
Yeah, but but like they didn't break him of the mind control like fully.
Point? Okay.
So maybe there's like he was working with it. Where he was still kind of like the Winter Soldier, but once the Wakandans like broke him of the mind control thing, maybe he lost access to that like robot part of his brain or something.
Because he fought those. I mean, he was surprised, but those super soldiers should have been nothing.
I don't know.
They should have been grunts to him.
Like he's been. Maybe it's a new serum, so they're stronger or something like that. But in which case,
yeah, I mean, he got like the off-brand Soviet serum.
Yeah, but also they were working on it and pumping him full of it for like 80 years. So it's like, don't, so it's like he should be, they've been working on him, perfecting him for fucking years.
That's true.
There's no reason that again, things update and things change, but it's like they were like, hey, we gotta fucking nerf you a little bit. Because it's just, but they never addressed it. Like the struggle with like your powers and coming to grips with it. How many times have we seen that? That's cool. Like I love it in Spider-Man 2 or in the various different things where it's like, oh my gosh, I don't understand my powers. How do I work with it within my real life now that he's like got consciousness? But they like, they like buried it and like underpowered him. And it could be like this kind of like this conflict where he goes too hard and he is like holding back or something like that.
Yeah.
And Sam is like, hey, don't bust people's skulls, please. Because they're just normal people and you're a super soldier.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe that kind of good guy Captain America kind of try not to kill people thing rubbed off on him.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like they underpowered him. And
Well, I think that's like where it feels most like a TV show. And one of my biggest things that felt like a shortcoming because of a TV show was the John Walker rollout. Like, it just felt so, like you were told it was a big deal and there was marketing, but you didn't see it besides a few pictures at the airport, like, or fans.
Yeah.
Like, something about it just, it felt like you were being told it more than shown it. You know, like I didn't get the feeling that he existed in this world. I get the feeling that he existed in this show for a purpose, I guess, rather than I don't know, like so much of this still is like a living, breathing world of superheroes and shit.
Yeah.
And he just felt like they were telling me he's there. And that's not to say I didn't like the character, because I did. I actually like John Walker. I think he's a pretty real character.
Yeah.
He's just a guy with emotions, and he was frustrated, and then
and he took an opportunity.
Yeah, and he took an opportunity, and like he's just a very human character. Which is it's an interesting look of just a human who was thrown into the superhero scene, and how he's trying to make sense of it and trying to earn their respect. And then he even has a real redemption arc, which I like, because I liked him even like when he got revenge and killed that guy on the fountain. It was bad optics, considering the marketing and people being there, but it wasn't completely out of line. They were in war in a sense, they were like,
they were active terrorists.
Yeah, they're active terrorists. They're fighting each other, and they killed one. And the guy was essentially he surrendered. Like, yes,
but all right, but
I don't.
So yes, Steve
wouldn't have done that.
Steve wouldn't have done that. But again, that's like I guess the thing is that's the measure is that he reacted once you got him down and he put his hands up. He reacted emotionally rather than for the good of all human life.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that is the Steve Rogers thing is that, listen, I'll beat the shit out of you, but I also I want to make sure that you can, like, if you have kids, you can still say hey to your kids.
Yeah, well, that's the difference is like Steve Rogers, that idealistic.
This is fucking so stupid.
Yeah.
This shot where they're walking away from each other for no reason. Like, it's
supposed to be like the passing of the torch. I don't know, but what was I saying?
Was it? Sorry, bud. I'm sorry. It made me so mad.
Steve Rogers, Captain America is the idealistic thing that we kind of think of, as Americans or as patriots or as a good guy. Where I think John Walker is what probably 95% of us are.
Yeah.
Are emotional beings with good intentions.
As we would like to be. We would like to be Steve Rogers.
Yeah, but we're all probably John Walker.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I liked him so much.
Just like it's like we'd all like to think that we'd be Luke Skywalker, but most of us are probably Anakin.
Yeah.
When we're faced with that much power and that much, like, we're going to try and save our wife.
Yeah.
We're not going to sacrifice ourselves.
Should have just had a C-section.
Hey, man. What are you talking about? It's a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, man. They don't have C-sections. Only natural births and robots.
Yep.
But I think those are the two things. Again, like kind of with my theory that it's like an outline, is like the two things that they did really well was the Black Captain America and like the sort of like the Black Super Soldier thing.
Yeah.
Like they handling that and giving Sam a lot of weight and making his journey impactful.
And I love
was good.
that he got to the point, like he just owned it, I guess.
I also like that was
when he came out flying as Captain America and he was like, I'm Captain America.
I know. I love that where he was just like so like he was like, I'm Captain America. And it wasn't like we didn't do like a push in. It was just like something he said offhand as he was doing a thing. I was like, oh fuck yeah, dude.
I love the last episode.
Shit.
I loved like just seeing that iteration of him flying and stuff and the utility of his tool, like his tool set and using the wings as supports or as shields. Like,
yeah,
it was so cool, and I can't wait to see what they do in a movie with him.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm very excited about it. And then I think also too, like the John Walker thing. The John Walker storyline is really good too.
Yeah, I think that's solid, and
you
I loved the grueling fight between the three of them. The next episode, but immediately after he kills that guy.
Yeah,
because everyone has the shield at some point, and it's super like grueling. Like
when is that when he comes with his fake shield? Or no, that's
I think it's immediately after. It's at some point where you're like, hey man, like give us a shield, like you gotta like.
Hey, that
was a big bad boo boo. And he's like, oh, so we're doing this now, and then they have that fight, and it was just a cool fight. I think like super grisly and stuff. And
yeah, I love a good training montage, but that was one of the things at the end of episode 5 when they have the training montage of him playing with the shield.
Yeah,
I think it's good with him playing with the shield, but like when he is already a superhero, and he's like running and he's doing like he's like struggling through his push-ups.
Yeah,
it's like
it's a very odd training montage.
It's
and like his training is just like basic working out and jogging and stuff, and then shield throwing, and then by the end of it, he's doing like crazy acrobatics,
which is cool. But it's like, man's already in good shape. He's already in good shape. He can do push-ups. I know that he can do push-ups already.
Yeah.
I understand like the acrobatic stuff, but I guess too a question would be like, why does he have to do the jumps and spins with the...
I think they're going to try and put a hook on him. So like he's not super powered, but he's super athletic and acrobatic and has cool tools. And that's how he differentiates from a super soldier.
But it just feels kind of similar to how Steve did it. Didn't Steve do like flips and shit like that? Like it's essentially the same toolkit as far as like the physical toolkit for doing like.
Can't quite remember.
I
mean, he's pretty like.
I like ever since you pointed out to me that they kind of do the same thing. I probably would have noticed it anyway. But they love doing that jump punch.
Oh, like
where like the person opens up and then punches down.
Yeah, ever since Troy.
Yeah, and it's like I saw them do that, and I was like, man, they do the same thing all over again.
So what do you think about the bad guys?
I feel so bad for them
as actors.
I don't know, man. They just like I had a like I feel like they should have waited to reveal them. Like,
well,
they like undercut them immediately by they tried to were like, hey, these people are. It was just very confusing. Where it's like, hey, these people, you should sympathize with them too. Sympathize with them too. And it's like
no. The reality is we have a young, intelligent girl who was radicalized and indoctrinated by some old lady who died and fucked off, and then she, what I did like was Sam's speech at the end. He's like, what you're gonna have next is the next Carly, someone with good intentions, but blah blah blah. They don't know how to go about it, or they're gonna go about it in extreme ways. I
don't necessarily have a problem with their like mission statement. I mean, again, it's like not necessarily their mission statement.
Well, I feel like they had to make her commit a few terroristic acts, to be like, see, she's the bad guy. But then it just didn't feel like like, have you seen King Kong, Peter Jackson's?
Yeah.
How whenever someone dies on the mission, Jack Black's character's like, we're gonna do this for blah blah blah. So
Yeah.
his family, and every time someone dies, he keeps saying it, and everyone's looking around like, this guy's full of shit. See, like something like that with Carly would have been good, but they just made her. They wanted her to be so sympathetic.
They wanted her to be so sympathetic,
and it just didn't work because there was never a moment. Because like, oh, she didn't act terrorism. She just killed a bunch of dudes that I don't care about. You know, like, yeah, that's immoral, that's bad. But I'm watching something, and you know, like
they should have again.
It doesn't do it
again to pull in Star Wars. They should have had her go full Anakin, where it's like, I have to do this.
They should have had her. Yeah,
they like push her to the point. If you're going to show her the whole time,
with the burning and killing of the political leaders or whatever, but
I don't know. I mean, yeah, but they didn't make that because that didn't feel like a big enough moment, and it didn't feel like.
Well, it just felt like it just felt like a layer. I mean, you could just see through it as a moment in the choreography or in the story beat telling, where it's like they need a distraction, so we can have some different like distraction kind of fighting back and forth.
Well, it just felt like they didn't want to go too hard. Again, like I was saying with Wanda, where they didn't want to make her be like a full bad person.
Yeah, I mean, neither really had villains.
Because now they're like,
and maybe
now it feels like they're obsessed with having someone who's ambiguously, like they had success with.
I mean, they've been doing it here and there, but ever since Killmonger, they're like,
Killmonger,
fuck yeah, let's make them ambiguous. And
yeah, let's make them ambiguous and kind of like have their mission be good. And it's like, yes, but also
no.
You can't. Well, the people
Steppenwolf recently, in the Snyder cut, is perfect. Like you're sympathetic to him, but he's still an evil dickhead.
Yeah.
Like,
well, because that's the thing with like fucking with fucking like at the end where Sam is like he gives his speech after Carly is gone or whatever, and he's like, hey, listen, you guys gotta here's my speech, okay, guys? Hey, here's my speech, okay, guys? And they're like, okay, yeah. But I don't know. It's like a weird thing where it doesn't, again, it's like doesn't take a perspective, and it doesn't set it down, man. I don't know.
No, it's not well done at all. I will say I do want to talk about the final episode and it's so cool. When you break it down, like Sam's mission is so less important than what Bucky's currently doing.
Yeah,
because Bucky's dealing with the leader. He's dealing with a portion of the bad guys.
Yeah,
he's managing twice or if not more of the lives of the politicians. Where Sam is just trying to take out the one pilot.
Yeah,
and obviously he has to be the one doing it because he can fly around. But
yeah,
it doesn't matter. It's so cool, but it's just like
Yeah, it's
when you break it down.
No, that's kind of something that it's like, I don't know.
Like I don't think there's any intention. I just think I don't think. I just think it's the way it shook out. But when you look at it, you're like, that's funky.
Yeah, Bucky's dealing with a lot down there at the bottom, and Sharon's not really helping out.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like. I
felt a lot of weird, like Christopher Nolan pre-heist filmmaking vibes at the beginning of of the last episode.
Yeah, but then it never fucking.
I don't. It just apparently the director of the Captain America 4 is the one who directed the best episode out of this, which I don't know which one it is. But there wasn't an episode I particularly loved filmmaking wise or stylistically or tone. Like it
felt really boilerplate. Like it felt like it had all the things, it had all the stuff that looked cool way, but it never like delivered on any of the promise of being like the big budget thing that it was. Like I think that's something that it's like
you can feel it's a TV, like it
feels like a TV show.
Yeah, it does, but it
feels like a TV show as far as like the stakes and the action feel like a TV show.
Yeah, the stake. I don't think they're wanting to use any bad like main villains on these TV shows.
Yeah,
so I think that's why they're using
Agatha all the time.
Yeah, which I think she's a pretty big character.
She's a pretty big character. I looked her up after. Is like she's a pretty big character. Apparently, she's like kind of Wanda's like mentor a little bit.
Yeah, so like her story isn't over, but she wasn't like a full villain.
Yeah.
And then in this, you have the Flag Smashers, which they feel throwaway as hell.
Yeah. Well, their fucking name is so much bullshit.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
Here it is. Here it goes. We're watching it. He's gonna say, I'm Captain America, bitch.
No, he doesn't.
I know
Not
he
here.
doesn't say that. But
I like the suit. What do you think about the suit design?
I like the suit.
I like the
There it goes.
predominant.
I'm Captain America.
Oh yeah.
I thought he was on the moon.
Where does that come from?
Well, Secret War or something like that, probably. They're setting up Secret War, or Secret Invasion. What is it?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Someone's been saying that, or saw that
Yeah.
somewhere.
That's what they're sort of setting up with a lot of the stuff.
Like, will that be the big phase?
I think
Mega Phase 2.
I think
whatever
that's gonna be like Ultron, you know?
Oh.
Because so
he comes back.
No. Like in terms of like how the Infinity Saga had
Like he'll
Ultron
be
be like the
mid-level boss.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Wanda's gonna be Loki. Secret Wars is gonna be like Ultron, and then probably like something like Kang the Conqueror or something like that will be the Phase 4.
Huh.
The Phase 8 or whatever.
Yeah, I can't even keep track.
You know, because they've got to bring in Fantastic Four at some point.
And X-Men.
It'll
be interesting to see what they do now that they have everyone. And Spider-Man is the only variable,
but they're gonna put him in the multiverse so that Sony can continue to do movies with him. That's what I'm pretty sure that he'll make some sort of sacrifice in the next Avengers level movie.
Yeah.
Like he'll have his own movie and we'll introduce the multiverse and there'll be a bunch of different stuff, so that then he has the out to be to die.
Yeah.
And go into the Sony multiverse, and then he can be Spider-Man for Sony movies because they don't want to lose it and they want it to be connected because it's, you know.
It'll be interesting to see what they do with it. It'll be interesting to see what they do overall. I'm rewatching all the movies chronologically, not of the in world order.
Yeah.
And it's fun. I did it leading up to Infinity War, so I'm doing it leading up to watching it and finishing with Endgame, which I've seen. But it's fun. I really like watching them in chronological order.
Yeah,
it's
in like true chronological order.
Yeah. So you start with Captain America, then Captain Marvel, then Iron Man 1, and then Iron Man 2, and then Thor, so on and so forth.
Incredible Hulk technically should be in there somewhere.
Yeah, it's in that area. I skipped that.
I think I don't know if anybody's seen the Ed Norton Incredible Hulk in a long time. Apparently, Emil Blonsky, Tim Roth. Why does that feel not right?
I don't know.
He's a guy who played Abomination.
Okay.
He's coming back for She-Hulk.
From that Hulk movie.
From that Hulk movie.
Huh.
Yeah.
Is it even? I don't think it's even on Disney Plus.
It's not. I don't think.
Like, what is like? It's just such like that. It's weird transitional time probably from when Disney bought them.
Well, they also probably were like, well, maybe we won't pay attention to this because they don't want to pay Ed Norton any money.
Yeah.
Because nobody likes Ed Norton.
Is he a dickhead?
Apparently, yeah.
Interesting.
He's apparently like one of the most pretentious actor guys who's like, hey, I'm a big old actor, man, who does like, I know everything. I know more than you. Like that's why Marvel kicked him out, because he was like, hey, let me rewrite this script so that I like it.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
But God, I forgot his name.
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo did great.
I think he did great.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic actor who's not too full of himself.
Yeah.
And just likes doing good work. Also, the fight with, it's so funny too that like Batrock became like sort of like the big physical bad, and like that was someone who in the Captain America and the Winter Soldier was just like a throwaway.
Yeah, he still felt like a throwaway to me.
He still felt like a throwaway, but he was definitely kind of like the physical.
Yeah.
The physical peak that Sam could handle.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Sam is a little bit more. He's like less like leadery, like physical wise, but like the mental and strategic stuff.
Yeah.
And then like kind of being like.
It'll be cool to see how he fits in. Like if he will take that leader role, or he'll be a piece of the pie, or a piece of the team. And I think Captain America inherently kind of takes the leader roles, and I think he'd excel at that.
But I think too,
and Iron Man obviously won't be there in that role, so like it'll be him, and Thor doesn't give a shit. So it's like,
well, he kind of fills the Iron Man role where he's got like gadgets. He's like the bird's eye view up above stuff.
Yeah,
you know, he doesn't necessarily have the firepower that Iron Man did. But that's what I like. That was something.
Well, I guess his limitation in his physical strength creates him to be not more successful, more creative.
Yeah,
as you see with the helicopter chase scene, and he's kind of like a Batman kind of like the gadgety aspect, which is really neat.
Yeah, it is very like that's like he's like a mix of Batman. He's like a mix of Batman, Iron Man. And then has like the capabilities, like not the capabilities, like those are like sort of like his like skill trees that he sort of has.
Yeah.
And then he has like his mind is sort of like Captain America, where he's like kind of like the inherent good.
Yeah.
Kind of keeping people grounded, keeping people loose. And
they
stuff.
got along together real well. For a reason, probably when they first met, jogging or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to going in my rewatch. I'm really looking forward to the Captain America movies.
Before they made the movies, I was like, Captain America's lame.
Yeah.
Fuck Captain America. But Captain America Winter Soldier was like fucking sold me.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm a Captain America stan. I'm fucking with it.
I mean, then the next one just had all that fan service there with the
next one had all that fan service, but plus he was kind of like, I mean, listen, anytime that you question the US, like the US government, I'm like, okay, yeah, but if you go back and like look at his argument where like the US government is like, hey, you guys keep blowing up other people's cities, and they kind of want to like. They want to like not have you do that so much, or have like we need to have something, and he's like, no, we're gonna blow up other people's cities to protect them.
Yeah,
that's what we have to do. It's like, okay, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely more hands-off government kind of theory, whatever. I hate regulation and over control and overstepping, but with that said, I was totally on Iron Man's side on that.
Yeah, well,
because that was just logic and common sense. And
well, it's definitely like, hey, listen, this is the first iteration of these accords.
Yeah.
Like, let's maybe sign them and like figure out if there's a way where we can not do like where we can have it not be bad.
We can figure it out.
Yeah. Let's treat this like negotiations. Like, you guys don't get to present the first option and that's it. Like, let's negotiate this.
Yeah.
Because we also have like this, we have the superpower, you know. So
if we can work together,
we can figure this out.
We can be buddies. What was your single favorite moment from the season?
Probably Sam just saying, I'm Captain America.
Yeah.
Like, probably just him saying, like, I would say like the warehouse fight with John Walker, Bucky, and them was pretty good too.
Yeah, that's for me. It's for me, and then there's one particular moment where he does some cool gadget stuff with the wings. I can't remember specifically, but I just like it's so cool. I think it's at the end when he comes in to save the day and fight Carly.
Yeah, I also really liked Bucky. The moment where I
do like John Walker coming back. I like that because he was a good enough guy, and he had a really interesting story, and that he came back, and that he was a hero. He tried, he failed, but he tried, and I don't know. I liked it.
I love that he made his own shield, and he was like,
out of his Medal of Honors too.
And it was like
Medals of Honor.
And it fucked up, and it got fucked up, and it's like, what did you expect, bro?
Yeah.
Like, what did you expect? It's not
vibranium.
Not vibranium, dude.
And then he becomes U.S. agent, which I guess the Dreyfus, what's her name?
Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
I guess she's like the Nick Fury of a different team.
Yeah, of like the Dark Avengers or something like that.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. U.S. agent's such a lame name.
It is such a lame name.
I thought like she was literally like, yeah, you're a U.S. agent right now. Like, well, you'll get a name eventually. And then his suit was the same suit, and it was just different colors.
It was just black, but it looked the same.
And he's like, oh, it's so cool.
Oh, it's the same suit. Doesn't he say it's the same suit, but it's black?
He might. I know that the actor hated it. He's like, I wanted a new like little redesign, but it's just this. They just recolored it.
I love too like the clickbaity articles where he's like, Wyatt Russell says that he might not be back, and really what he says is that I don't know what they have planned for me, you know. Like, and it's like, okay, guys, that's not the.
He doesn't strike me as the artist type, nor is he famous enough yet to have that leverage.
Well, plus the thing is, like, I mean, and he's right where he's like, they're gonna see what works, and like, if the people connect with my character, like, then they'll be like, yeah, okay, let's bring him back.
I say they succeeded. I connect with that character, and I want to see him more.
I think he'll be back for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's also there's so much fun stuff that Marvel does, like with like the low key advertising, where it's like,
the
where they're like
low key or low key.
No, like low key.
I think that's the second time I like didn't understand what you meant.
Where they
the Viking god,
not the Viking god, not the Norse god of.
So you are saying low,
as in low,
and
then key.
Yeah.
So low key. It's subterfuge.
Yeah.
they do like really subterfugey like marketing where they like give people like it feels like they gave him that to say to like, oh, we're gonna stay in the news and we're gonna question a little bit about John Walker. Because I feel like that's the whole thing where
it was a fan theory and speculation is such a big part.
Yeah. Which can also like kind of like cut you, like I feel like is what led to The Last Jedi being like a little bit of a disappointment, because after The Force Awakens there were so many questions and everyone was like, oh my gosh, and then it was just kind of like disappointing.
Yeah, it's like you only can do.
I still like The Last Jedi, but it was like following The Force Awakens where there's so many questions, and it was like, hey, nerf this question. Hey, nerf this question. Hey, fuck off. Yeah. Fuck your expectations, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah. But Marvel does that really well.
Can't believe they've done that.
I can't believe you've done this.
Yeah, that's what I say when I think of The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Kathleen Kennedy should have been fired on the spot for that.
Yeah. Who?
Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh yeah.
Just that lack of foresight. That's a huge irresponsible. Like, you need a plan. Yeah.
Anyway, listen, we don't need to get back into that.
You always do. It's been too long.
I know. This was something too. Is like, I feel like we knew more than the characters knew far too often. Like, I feel like we knew
too much dramatic irony.
Yeah, or like Carly Morgenthau, like we knew her before we needed to, like so early. I think it was like the first episode where they revealed her face, and it's like, give me a little, make it a little bit faceless. Let's
do it. They did in Han Solo.
Yeah,
like, oh, it's a
do almost
young girl?
Exactly what they did in Han Solo.
Same actor too, I think.
No, it's the same actress.
Yeah,
that's why I was like, wait a second.
Maybe they didn't because of Solo, but I do think a reveal would have been good.
A reveal, or like, and the same thing,
or even have the old lady be alive, and then she hands it down to the girl, and then you can, maybe that's how you sympathize with her, is that she's the leader now. She's like, I don't know what I'm doing.
And I feel like I say this very often, but it's like, let's stay in the perspective. Like, if we're gonna be with Sam, John Walker, and Bucky, Like, let's stay with those guys a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, let's see their individual journeys. Or if we're going to add Sharon into that mix and have Sharon be a part of it, let's add her journey, you know, and like we'll kind of like split it up. But like we're going all over the place, bud.
Yeah.
Like we've got Carly.
Well, there's too much too, like vague European settings.
Yeah.
Which I didn't like.
Yeah, no, I agree. It felt like the sets were boring.
Yeah. No,
you know? I don't know. This show had some really good moments. I think that's kind of like the thing is like the moments that were good were good. The moments that were in between the good moments were like not there. But the moments that were bad were very bad.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just strange.
It's just it's a very strange like middle ground of stuff where it very much feels like a TV show. And I think that's one of the things that I'm most disappointed in about both WandaVision and this.
Do you think that's the unrealistic expectations?
Is that, yeah, it's that, but it's also that, like, it definitely feels like instead of giving us smaller stories, they're giving us moments in between bigger stories.
Yeah.
You know, like instead of like...
Yeah, but I mean, how much do you need to have the world at risk, you know?
Well, and that's not what I'm saying, like, instead of giving us like small, and I think it's like the scare of it was like instead of having smaller stories where it's like, hey, let's figure out how to have Bucky like break his own brain so that he's free of that.
Yeah.
Like maybe like I want to see that. That's a own little thing. And then he's having to deal with those effects while Sam is dealing with this other thing, and maybe it's not as big as it needs to be.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's more of a personal story.
It's more of a personal story, which is the opportunity that they have with this, but they don't want anything major to happen.
Yeah.
And so we'll have to make those journeys via movie. It just, I don't know.
I think for all the fact that it hit on things well, and obviously not a lot of stuff well, it didn't stop me from looking back on it positively, and I'll remember the things I liked.
Yeah.
And I remember their through lines and the characters, and that's cool. Will I rewatch this? No, not likely, unless, you know, in 10 years I'm like, fuck yeah, there's 50 movies and 20 TV shows, and it's really well connected, and I'm gonna buckle down and do this. Chronologically, cool. I probably will, but like right now,
I don't think I ever will. I don't think I need to.
I've enjoyed it too much. Like I've done, you know, the 23 movies.
Yeah.
Just 2 or 3 years ago, and I'm ready to do it again.
Yeah, but I guess the question is like
it's like The Office, you know.
Do you need it though? Like, does this just because it's chronologically in order?
I mean, I would probably honestly just put on this last episode.
Yeah.
And you get it.
Yeah.
WandaVision, it's fun, so it has that going for it.
I would rewatch WandaVision before I would rewatch this, personally.
Yeah, I'd probably rewatch the last episode. Maybe the first and last. At the very least, the last.
Of this or of WandaVision?
Of this.
Yeah, I might rewatch the first episode and rewatch the last episode.
Yeah, if you're doing a thing.
But I don't really I wouldn't really feel the need.
No, and especially who knows what Captain America 4 actually looks like.
Yeah, like
and it may just completely negate it at all.
Well, not necessarily negate it,
but like make it irrelevant to have to watch.
Yeah.
There's also like very annoying, like with the Flag Smashers, just like a lot of ideological shit in this world where this huge global crisis happened.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? You're just trying to relate to a crisis that hasn't happened, that didn't happen in real life, I guess, with everyone disappearing. And it's like, no, let's like get to the nuts of it, of why this is interesting, you know? And it gets interesting when Captain America and the senators are talking at the end, and the senators, they're giving like pretty decent rebuttals, like, no, we just can't do that. That's not how this thing, like, you know, like they get in the weeds of it, and you know, Sam's like, no, just try. You know, you got to try, and you got to, you know, you're representing these people. You got to figure it out. And that was the most interesting. That whole idea got all season, because I just like Carly was just too vague.
Yeah.
Like their whole mission statement was confusing. It was barely touched on. I think maybe in the first couple episodes, it just.
Well, and I think too that's something that they're missing out on.
It felt too much like she was like an ideological college student, like doing her thing, young and ignorant, but very intelligent and very passionate. And they play off of that. It is acknowledged, especially with Sam trying to help her, and the fact that he says after the fact, you're gonna get people like her.
Yeah. And that's what I think that they, again, kind of talking about personal stories, is they really missed an opportunity to showcase how fucking hard it was for people.
Yeah.
Like, because that was the thing, is they're like, it's so hard, and we just see them saying how it's hard. And I think it's a case of like, that's like,
I mean, the most collective struggle we see is a funeral over this lady.
Well,
it's like, that's your collective struggle that we're seeing.
And again, I'm just asking.
But that has nothing to do with your movement.
I'm just asking for smaller storytelling, and maybe they don't want to do that, or maybe they can't do that because of COVID, or maybe they just don't want to do that because they're like, oh, people are going to get bored of watching Carly Morgenthau. Maybe picture this. We don't know if Carly Morgenthau is involved this whole time, but she just kind of keeps showing up, and she's like, oh, I'm here to pick up these kids because they all need to go to school, and there's no one here to drive them anymore because the buses got shut down because there's no money. So I rented out this bus, and I'm driving all these kids here. So I don't know what you guys are talking about as far as like this flag smasher thing, but I'm just picking up these kids.
Yeah.
So she keeps showing up or something like that, and we keep seeing like little reasons why the world is awful, why the GRC really fucks stuff up.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she's like, hey, guess what? By the way, I'm the big old bad guy, and I'm a super soldier, and I'll just straight up eat you.
I mean, anything with it didn't work.
It just didn't. It didn't feel.
And every time I was like, who is the bad guy again? Because it came out weekly. And every time I'm like, who's oh, right, the flag smashers, right? Okay, I don't care about them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what would you give this? I guess we'll do ratings. So what did you give it?
I'll do I don't know, 3 out of 5. It's like it's there.
Yeah, I think that's what I gave it as well.
It's definitely happening.
I gave it a. When did I watch this? Yeah, 3 stars. 3 Captain America shields, a U.S. Agent shield, a shitty John Walker shield, and then the vibranium shield. That's what I do. For all reasons stated.
I'll do do 3 like disappointed like
flag smasher masks.
I'll do 3 like off-brand flag smasher masks.
Yep. Off-brand from Party City.
Yeah, they're not even they're too flimsy.
Yeah.
And yeah, so what are you watching?
I watched Mosul. It's a Netflix movie. It's pretty much about like Iraqi SWAT teams that were fighting ISIS essentially.
Okay.
And it was just an interesting perspective because it was these Iraqi citizens, policemen of Mosul, Iraq, kind of just dealing with the shit that the Iraq war left, and with the creation of ISIS and the ruins of their nation. Very interesting perspective. The Way of the Gun as well, I watched. It's a cult film with Benicio del Toro and
Ryan Felipe?
Yep. Pretty culty kind of movie, I guess. I don't know. Like, it's not super weird, but it does, when you watch it, like, yeah, this movie didn't do well in the box office, and it did well. Like, you just get that vibe from it.
Yeah.
It was okay. I enjoyed it, I guess. It felt like Heat with a very non-spectacle kind of action, but very compelling because it's very...
Yeah.
Feels real, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then I watched My Octopus Teacher.
Oh.
And it won Academy Award for Best Film or Best Documentary. Best Documentary Feature. And it was weird. I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
It was fun to look at.
Huh.
Did you watch it?
I haven't watched it. I've only heard good things, though.
It's just about like a middle-aged, it's about an artistic dude who is having continual life crises and has an extremely obsessive, addictive personality.
Huh.
And it's just like he's emotionally cheating with this octopus, and it's weird. It's not good. It's well shot. The storytelling is good. That's there. Like, it's interesting and you go for the ride. But when you break it down with what it is, it's really stupid.
Huh.
But at the very least, you get really cool imagery and learn a lot about an octopus and their stuff that they do. And they only live.
So you don't have an issue with the octopus. You have an issue with the man who did the octopus teaching?
Yeah. Like the movie starts off and he's like, yeah, I did a documentary about tracking in the Africa and with my brother, and I did it for 2 years, and I just went too hard. So then I got really depressed, and I never touched a camera again. Fast forward, I just started going swimming in the ice cold water, and it just was very peaceful. And then I felt good about taking a camera. And then the man proceeds to go and film this octopus every single day for a year. Goes in cold water and films it. And it's just like, this is just a dude with existential crises. And like, he's trying to describe feelings, and it's like, dude, you're describing empathy. Like, how? Yeah. What? He's like, I felt for this thing. It's like it was like he was discovering this dude's weird. I didn't like it.
Okay.
You should watch it.
I will watch it. I will watch it. I have, that's from the perspective that I've gotten from other people who've watching it, that is not the perspective that, it's just funny.
What did they say?
They thought it was nice. They thought it was good. They thought it was like something about persistence, maybe.
I was there for it, and it isn't poorly made. It's not a waste of time to watch, I guess I'd say. The guy just sucked.
I get it. I was gonna watch it. It was on the list. I mean, it won Best Documentary and stuff. And I've heard good things about it.
Yeah. Well, if you watch it between now and Sunday, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the links.
I watched the movie that won Best Foreign Film, Another Round, with Mads Mikkelsen.
I want to watch that.
That movie's really good.
Cool.
That movie's really fun. Leonardo Dicaprio is remaking it.
What? Why?
Which feels like a weird choice for Leonardo DiCaprio.
Weird.
But he's remaking it in America.
That's too soon.
I don't know. It feels like a weird choice for him. Like,
you probably just saw and he's like, I want to play in this sandbox too.
Yeah.
he's like the
I don't know, but it's like, it's so good.
It also feels disrespectful with the kind of background of that movie and the director's daughter.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the director's daughter, or the director is probably cool with it and is probably getting some money from it. So he's like, yeah, whatever. But I don't know. It's too soon, not because of the
death of his daughter.
Not the sad part about it. It's just too soon.
Yeah, it just feels like,
what? This movie just won Best Picture. Let's watch it and enjoy it.
Well,
and there's no way that thing is going to measure up.
Because that's the thing. That's the thing that's confusing to me sometimes about, like, we're like, oh, let's remake this movie, but we'll do it in English so that it's more. It's like, I
think that's an issue.
I feel like it's still pretty, like, apparent what's going on. Like, some of this, like, I still feel like it's really apparent what's going on. You know, like, despite it being in Danish.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
I mean, we should all.
I still got it. Like, I also can see Mads Mikkelsen's face going fucking hard as shit.
Yeah. Well, we all shouldn't be the people that Trump was appealing to after Parasite won. Like, you should enjoy a movie in a foreign language and the fresh perspective. You shouldn't always watch a Marvel movie or whatever. Like, you learn a lot from those movies, and it's also just fresh.
Yeah. And I also have been watching The Shivering Truth on HBO Max.
Ooh, what's that?
That's like it's weird as shit. I'll just tell you that. It's like a claymation. It's sort of like stream of consciousness storytelling, animated with claymation. Or like hyper realistic animation. And it's very like faux philosophical gore comedy. It's real fucking weird, bud.
Interesting.
It's real fucking weird. I like it, but I also acknowledge that it tickles the parts of my brain that are like, these are the weird parts that it's weird to see some, like, it's like one of the, like, when, like, you imagine something that's super weird and you're like, that's a super weird thing that I'm thinking about, and then someone made a TV show of that.
I'm down.
You know, so I would definitely, check it out.
Yeah. Czech as in CZECH. Is it made by the Czechs?
I don't know. It feels American-y.
Yeah, I don't know why I forced that pun.
I don't know.
The way
I
you
love
said
it, though.
the way you said Czech sounded like Czech.
Check it out. Check it out.
I don't know. Anyways, that's
I did some of the reviews. We don't have to read them, but I did some of them. And the ones that are good, and the ones that are bad are basically what we said.
Yeah.
And then there's like another portion of them that are just racist.
Yeah, well.
And it's just like, damn it, guys. Damn it.
You know, you can not watch and they don't care about you.
It's like, what the fuck? Like, some of them were like, oh my, I was like, are you serious?
I mean, just watch some all gas, no brakes, and you'll.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you were surprised.
I'm not surprised.
But it's
just
like
ugh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as they say, I think that's up for. Or hit us up at Stinky Podcast. Tell us what you think we should watch next. As always, we're calling for pitches so we can read your script live on air.
Still waiting for the first one.
Still waiting for the first one. Tell us why John Walker sucks and he's not worth the time. Tell us why why Bucky wasn't underpowered and I'm stupid for saying that he was underpowered. Tell us why it was good. Tell us why you thought it was good, and you definitely will watch it over and over again. Tell us who did Julia Louis-Dreyfus's purple streak in her hair, because I want a purple streak. I'm ready.
It's like it's her, but let's make her comic booky.
Yeah,
it was lame. I don't like that touch. All right, as they say in
various European countries,
vague made-up European countries.
Oh, we want freedom!
What?
We want it!
The Sokovians.
We want freedom!